So this was going to be a Q&A, but out of 500 people who viewed my Instagram story, Snapchat, wannabe, whatever, I got one question, and it was to come to some city and lift and let them take me for dinner. So, a question that I've been getting on my posts, though, that I will go over in this video is to do with the last 3 months when I've been injured, specifically how I managed to keep my body fat percentage kind of around where it was in the beginning. Most of the misconception is everyone's going, well, how did you do that without training? By training, I mean powerlifting. So I wasn't powerlifting in those 3 months. I'm probably only up around 3 pounds. My scale is broken, or the batteries are dead and I'm just too lazy to get new batteries for it. But I'm around 3 pounds up in a month. So I gained about a pound a month, which honestly, all things considering, is pretty good. I was probably still in the gym about 3 to 4 times a week. In the beginning, it was a majority of just doing walking on the treadmill. I was walking a lot in the morning at 5 a.m. And then walking again at night. Just getting as much walking as I could get in there, because that was at the time the only cardio and the only thing I had to really burn fat. After that, I slowly started introducing upper body exercises. Nothing that was axial loading. My diet, I had to change, so I was in mostly like a surplus before it happened, and that kind of switched, and I had to drop down to just about a deficit, not too significant of one, to combat that. For a lot of it, I was carb cycling as best as I could. So it worked decent, except for my digestive system isn't super good with vegetables. So the 3-4 days that I was eating really, really low carb, I was really, really bloated because I was eating a lot of vegetables. So I kind of just switched that and just went to a moderate fat, a little bit higher carb. The tricky part was I was traveling a lot. Vegas twice, San Francisco, Portland, going back and forth to Seattle. A lot of that played a role in probably the weight that was gained. I feel like I would have been able to combat it a little bit better if I was stricter with my diet. So just trying to, when I was eating out, making sure that every time I was eating out, it wasn't gluttony. I think the biggest problem that a lot of people have is they get injured and they automatically start making excuses for themselves. We have a lot of victim mentalities that are pushed on us by people like doctors and friends that see us injured. I heard from a lot of people like, why are you in the gym? You're injured. Because everything is modifiable to accommodate whatever needs or injuries you have. Know your limitations. Walking was a big thing. Like, I know it sounds kind of ridiculous, but I was just waking up at 5 in the morning to go for a walk, and then I'd be back in the gym walking on the treadmill for 30 minutes. And I know it seems pretty minuscule, but just a little bit, half an hour of walking a day can go a long way, especially if you're being really, really good with your diet. By continuing to do things the way that I was and keeping myself accountable and keeping myself in the gym despite being injured, that really helped with things. Speaking of the gym, I'm going to go squat today. So I hope some of that was a little bit helpful. I know that injuries can be hard, and it can be really, really hard to stay positive. Being that I've been battling a few of them in the last year, I more than anyone know the emotional and mental struggle of it. And I know that when being in the gym is one thing that you really want to do, and you know your injury is kind of keeping you from being there, creating that negative connotation, like I can't go to the gym because I'm injured, isn't going to help you any. Even if you can get in there to go and do mobility or cardio, is really, really going to help keep that in that positive mindset, making it easier for you to get back there, not creating any kind of negative connotation. It's just always been there, always continued to be an outlet, allow it to be an outlet for you even when you're injured, and it just makes things a little bit easier when you get back in there. And to keep the weight off, or whatever goals that you have, and really make sure that you dial in that diet, because that diet is picking up the slack that your training was before. Yeah, keep it sleazy.